Welcome to a new Liftinstituut expert session. In this series of short video discussion, experts from all around the world share their knowledge, experience, and views on a variety of vertical transportation subjects. Today we'll be talking about codes and standards and how international standards relate to European standards. Joining us is Pieter Schaareman. He's a product specialist at Liftinstituut and he's involved in managing codes and standards. Pieter, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, Pieter, tell us a little bit about your role at Liftinstituut.
Well, in a nutshell, I started in 1999 as inspector in the field.
Yeah.
And currently I have a 50-50 job in Liftinstituut where I do product specialist certification, with, operational work.
Sure.
And 50% I do codes and standards with the committee meetings also.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about is these standardization committees that helped us to write the big book that everyone needs to follow. Tell me about those and which standards you're involved in.
Yeah, currently we are working in a revision of the main lift standard today. Yeah. And it's a standard developed in cooperation with ISO and CEN. So recently the EU standard was transposed to an ISO standard. Yeah. And currently there's a big revision going on, exercised by CEN.
Sure. So to be clear, CEN is the body handling Europe, and then ISO is meant to handle the rest of the world, essentially.
Correct.
Yeah. And I hear that harmonization is a goal here. Yes.
Yeah, so that's also one part of the work. So the intention is to have an ISO standard which is used all over the world. And for Europe, of course, we need a harmonized standard to use it on the legislation of Europe.
Yeah. Right, yeah, and even if the standard is not literally the same document, it's still functionally the same so that builders from around the world can build in Europe and know that they're following the same set of rules. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically the same set of rules are relevant. It is the same standard, only for Europe it will be an EN ISO standard.
Okay.
Harmonized for Lift Directive.
Nice. Yeah. And why is it important that Liftinstituut participate in these committees?
Yeah, we think it's very important to contribute our knowledge and experience in the committees, and to have to also have a view on what's going on and be part of the decision making in the standards developments. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not the sort of thing you want to leave to the lift manufacturers alone. Yes.
Correct. Yeah, we are independent notified body. So lift companies are hugely represented in the committees. Yeah. And of course they have safety also in their mind. Right. But they might also have some commercial interest.
That's just what I was thinking. Is I'm sure they're responsible, but it's also good to have an independent body like Liftinstituut that's helping with that. Yeah. Do you have examples of specific examples of where Liftinstituut has helped to guide the future standard?
Yeah, I can mention two examples. So maybe we can we have a movie of the first example.
Let's watch that now.
Alles ontploft in je hoofd, bij wijze van spreken, want je wil zoveel tegelijkertijd doen, alleen om je kind te beschermen. We waren naar een kinderpretparkje geweest hier in de buurt. En we zouden nog eventjes hier een hapje eten in het appartementencomplex. We stappen de lift in, vervolgens gaan we naar boven en op dat moment steekt mijn zoontje zijn hand op de liftdeur. Dus vervolgens wordt hij helemaal meegetrokken naar binnen, tot halverwege zijn onderarm. En dan zakt letterlijk de grond onder je voeten vandaan. Je gaat gelijk op zoek naar hoe krijg ik hem eruit. Ja, dat armpje zit muur vast, je kan niet zoveel, dus dat is wel even paniekje. Je moet heel veel dingen tegelijk doen. Alarmeren van natuurlijk 1 en 2. Je moet je zoontje rustig houden. En je moet op zoek naar objecten die zomaar ergens vandaan moeten toveren. Uiteindelijk hebben we hem na 6 minuten eruit gekregen door het gebruik van een klauwhamer. En toen kon er een stalen pijp kregen we ertussen en daarmee konden we uiteindelijk de deur zo ver open maken dat hij voldoende spelingsruimte had om zijn armpje er weer uit te tillen. Wat wij nu doen is kinderen aan de hand mee de lift innemen. Die zetten we achter in de lift en dan bedienen wij de lift en dan staan we ook tussen hen en de liftdeur in.
Oh, Pieter, that is a horrible story. That's terrible for the son, for the father.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it sounds like a freak accident, if that's not too technical a term, but it's just the sort of thing where an engineering mind or a design mind might think, how do we prevent this from happening in the future?
Yeah.
Were there any specifics about this case that made it that caused it to occur?
Yeah, it was very, very strange because this accident. You can expect it to happen with glass doors. So there are specific additional requirements for glass doors for this risk. And
why are glass doors more likely?
Yeah, because children are intent to look into this open space through the glass doors.
So they're
for
just
example.
more likely to have their hands in a dangerous place.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
And this was a steel door then?
exactly, that
Okay.
was the strange thing. It was a steel door, so
Got it.
never occurred before.
Yeah. And so what kind of changes did Liftinstituut help to guide?
Yeah, so we based on this accident, this terrible accident, we introduced this situation and proposed to look at it again by the working group.
Yeah.
And we proposed also additional requirements for that. So that was taken into consideration, and at the end they provided, or the new revised standard have increased gap reductions, for example.
Okay, yeah, just less of the space for that to happen.
Smaller spaces.
Uh-huh.
And also for the car door, there needs to be detection or even more stronger gap reductions.
Sure.
And also the opening force is also introduced for steel doors now.
Okay, got it. All of this just preventing
Limitation,
even a freak accident from happening in the future.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Are there examples of preventative sorts of things that Liftinstituut is helping to guide?
Yeah, so another topic, maybe not that terrible, but or not yet.
Many things are, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the pit ladder. There's a solution in the current standard which allows a foldable pit ladder,
Okay.
which you can collect from the pit floor with a chain or a rope, and then you unfold it and you place it to the landing sill.
Okay.
And then you can enter or leave the pit.
Yeah.
And experience is that when you are finished, you fold the ladder again, and it's thrown back in the pit.
Just toss it back in there. Yeah, fair enough. That's probably what I would do. But this is a problem potentially.
Yeah, there's a problem because you damage equipment in the pit, or the ladder itself becomes damaged.
Sure.
Also, the pit floor can be dirty. So at the end, after time, the pit ladder got damaged and dirty, slippery.
It can be dangerous.
And this folding mechanism that can start to fail.
Okay.
So either the ladder is not used anymore,
Sure.
or it's used and accidents or near accidents can happen with this.
And so what is the changes being enacted?
Yeah, in the current revision, it's now proposed to remove this option and only have fixed ladders.
Okay, so even if it folds, it must permanently be connected.
Exactly.
No option to just toss it back in there. Okay, interesting. And when the changes that we're talking about, when are they going into effect?
Yeah, so there was some delay already because it's a huge work load.
Yeah.
But it's expected in the first quarter of 2025.
Okay, 2025, got it. And that's a ways away from where we are now, but are manufacturers already accounting for updated standards like this?
Well, yeah, if you participate, and basically at least the big companies, but many companies are involved in standard development, so they are aware of the improvements to be made.
Okay.
So they can work on it already.
They can stay ahead of it, and that's an advantage. Well, normal people like myself never think about these things, and so it's great that Liftinstituut is out there considering these safety issues that we take for granted and keeping us safe. So thank you for that, and thank you for joining us today, Pieter.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for another Liftinstituut Expert Session. You can subscribe to Liftinstituut on YouTube and find many more expert sessions. And did you know that the expert sessions are also available as a podcast? Go to your favorite podcast app and search for Liftinstituut. If you have an idea for a topic that you'd like to see in a future expert session, then let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.